Hmm. Will Major League Baseball go to a 16 team playoff? That's one to ponder. Cole Sports presents on the daily. Well, how you doing? Welcome to a Friday edition of Cole Sports on the Daily. Cole Johnson's here, ready to give it to you as only I can. And if you haven't already, like this video. And I want to hear what you have to say. Comment below. If there's any commentary or any topic you want me to discuss, I would be glad to do so. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It would be great if I actually spoke in a coherent fashion. Well, as I mentioned, today's Friday, and I guess my tongue wants to go along for the weekend with me. And I was thinking about the NBA, MLB playoffs, Major League Baseball. You know, they're going through their playoffs now. They're in the championship series round, and they had to shorten their season to 60 games. And in that, they wanted to, I guess, create as much excitement as they could. And so they extended their playoffs from normally, what would be 9 teams each? Well, not 9, I'm sorry. Let's see. 4, 8, from 10. From 10 teams to 16. And I think it was good for this year. But is it good all years? And that's what I want to ponder in today's email Major League Baseball. CC, the Major League Baseball Labor Union. Subject of email: this is a one-off. Body of email: if the normal baseball season went on as scheduled, we would have only seen a normal baseball playoff, right? 10 teams make it, East, Central, West champ, and the 2 wild cards that face one of those division champs, and the other wild card that gets knocked off by the wild card that advances. Now, MLB, I applaud you for the fact that you drummed up a different type of excitement for September. I mean, because I remember how I was before 1994, and I should say 1995, because we didn't have baseball in September of 1994. But I remember it. Unless you had a season like 1980, where you had division races go on to the last weekend, or 1993, where you had 2 100-win teams battle it out and duke it out to see which one was going to outlast the other. The season was ho-hum, and it was almost as soon as June at times when we knew, like the 1984 Tigers. It was like June when we knew, okay, that team is either going to make the playoffs at worst, or at best, they're going to dominate and win the whole thing. And I think I got the gist from how things were like when my father grew up. So like, man, that would be boring just to think of, okay, well, the Yankees are just so loaded. How could teams even think of being even in the same room as them in terms of winning championships? So I could see how that would be boring. Well, Major League Baseball decided to institute the wild card, and it was one of the greatest decisions I think baseball ever made. So I thank you for that excitement. I do. And seeing this wild card log jam and seeing how it got built more and more and more makes me think, okay, well, it looks like baseball, they may not know what to do with every single detail of the sport, but they seem to know what to do with this detail because, well, I mean, it's part of what a league needs to do to bring interest, feigned or otherwise, to the sport, and it's a great thing. And uh, evolution is definitely there, and innovation is definitely nothing new. I mean, go back to 1981, where you had the strike season. Well, you had a strike shortened season, I'm sorry. And a strike happened in the summer months of June and July. So you had a first half champion, a second half champion of the division, and they would square off in the division round. Excuse me. So I get that. So we had the division series born in 1981. We didn't see it come to fruition really until 1995. And now we've had it ever since then. So it made me think, now that we had to eschew 100 games during the regular season, and in lieu of that, we had a 16-team playoff, does that mean we're going to see this in the future? And I had to think about that. Now, one of the biggest complaints I have about a 16-team playoff, especially in a 30-team league, just look at the NHL and the NBA. That's exactly their model. They have 30 teams. I'm sorry, my bad. NHL has 31 teams, and they'll soon to have 32 teams. Hello, Seattle Kraken. The NBA still has 30. But even with the NHL model of 31, close to 32 teams, and still having 16 teams make it to the playoffs, that's still half, if not more than half, of the teams making it to the playoffs, which makes you think, well, how important is the regular season? And that is the balance that you have to strike. And I think basically baseball finally found that balance, because for them, it was like Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last. And until 1994, or I should say 1995, that's how it was. Whoever won a division went on to the playoffs. And if you were second and later and second and below, you did not see any baseball until February. So that was the opposite end. It's like, well, doggone. I'm like, all right, so we get to see 4 teams ballot out and they meet up in the World Series and we see who wins. So, okay, 2 weeks of playoff baseball. Okay. But it almost made August and September moot because of that. Now with the wild card, it's okay. Well, certain division championships would be wrapped up, but you still have teams who can fight for a playoff spot that aren't even in contention for the divisional crown. They get a chance to actually be in the playoffs. Now they even have 2 types of races. One can seal a playoff. One can seal the hosting of the wild card game. The other has to play himself in. So you now have 2 different races of the wild card variety to go along with the divisional races, all 6 that could happen, or none of the 6. And if all 6 divisions were settled by August, wild card rounds and the wild card chases normally have not been settled until the last week, if not even the last day. Sometimes an extra day is needed. Like a Game 7. I know. It's not a Game 7, but it's like Game 163. But that Game 63 is like a Game 7. So you had that, right? And so the interest in baseball, to me, I like. I mean, it's perfect as it is. You got 10 teams in advance. You have a playing game with the wild cards. One wild card team knocks out the other, and then the wild card team that advances matches up against the team that had the best record in that league. To me, I think it's good. I don't think they need to do anything else. I don't really think they need to touch what the playoffs have. Unlike what the NFL did, because the NFL was perfect. They had 12 teams for the 32 that played advance. But in the recent collective bargaining agreement, they decided to up the ante and not have 12 teams advance, but have 14. And in doing so, they eliminated the second bye in each conference, which I think is ridiculous and silly. But this is not about the NFL. This is about Major League Baseball. So I digress. The NBA, they prove, and sometimes the NHL too, but they prove that the first round can sometimes be a bore unless you have a great matchup between the 6 seed, the 3 seed, and the 4 seed, and the 5 seed. And if you have those types of matchups, then I think you could have a good first round. But normally in the first round, you get bored because normally the first seed crushes the 8th seed, and the second seed, they normally have their way with the 7th seed. And it's almost to the point now where you have people think, well, the real action starts with the conference semifinal round. Well, I don't want baseball to get to the point where they do have this wild card introductory round in the playoffs. And people say, well, the real action begins when the division series happens. I don't want that for baseball because I think it will cheapen the playoffs. Much like in the NHL with the Stanley Cup playoffs, much like with the NBA with their playoff run. I don't want that for Major Baseball. I mean, they need to have as many pluses as they can get because they suffered so many minuses the last 2 decades that it has hurt the product to where they are a distant third in terms of America is concerned in functionality, in focus, in just simple attention. Like you can have a World Series game be played, but if the NBA regular season is on, more than likely you'll have more people in the regular season watch an NBA game. And most certainly, if it's a Thursday night game in NFL during October, you would have that game outrate and outrank a World Series game, which sucks to me, but that's just how it is. I would not want Major League Baseball to waste their time with a 16-game playoff every year. I say that though, and I know what's going to happen. They see how successful things are and how things were. And I think we're going to see a 16-team playoff. I won't say 2021, but I think we'll probably see it starting later this decade because for the times that it served in 2020, it was actually a pretty good thing. But long term, I don't think it is. But it's going to probably be here to stay, whether we like it or not. Cole Johnson, Cole Sports with the Z.com. Now, if you want the shirt that I am wearing, this wonderful shirt that you see on the screen, the details are below in the description box. Now, if you feel that you want to see a 16-team playoff in Major League Baseball, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head, and I'm speaking out the side of my neck, or if you agree with me that 16 teams in the MLB playoffs is overload, either way, I want you to like this video and comment below because I want to hear what you have to say because I want to hear what you think, VIP. And don't forget, hit that notification bell and subscribe to this channel for all content that comes to your, well, eyeballs. Shout out to the Voice from the Underground on that. Well, I hope you enjoy your weekend because I'm going to enjoy mine. This is Cole Johnson. I have enjoyed you, VIP, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.